I want to make these kind of shots.
Yeah.
I wish I had the time to, when I'm building the PC, to like set up the lights and the camera for every single quarter turn of the screwdriver and just make this beautiful montage. And I just don't have the time. And then I have to sit back afterwards and go, but did that make me want to subscribe to the channel? Like Twitch needs to view their platform the same way content creators view their content. Like I don't focus on monetization. I have the avenue set in place, and then I focus entirely on making the best content and providing the best thing for my viewers. And then the monetization happens because I have the avenues there.
This is so important.
They are losing so much by ignoring the experience of the viewer.
They're doing it in reverse, right? And there's a really good book by Gary Vaynerchuk called Thank You Economy that covers this concept, which is like, I
love Gary V.
Yeah, me too. Okay. It's like fantastic. And like one of his like core concepts is, okay, look, like everyone thinks that that you basically just ask for money or you're providing a product or a service. But if you give away all of your best stuff for free, then the money will come. It seems really unintuitive, but and like you do have to do some work to set up those monetization platforms. But like I noticed that you don't sell a course, right? Am I right on that?
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't sell a course, you don't sell, and I don't either. But you could be very easily selling a $1,000, $500 course where you put all of the information that you have for free on your YouTube behind it, and you don't.
Yeah.
And a lot of people would say, well, Harris, you're actually not doing everything in your business that you could be doing. And what they don't realize is that it is this willingness to put out your best stuff that is actually bringing you back those returns.
There are more, what's the word? Not revenue. What's the word I'm looking for? Currency. There are more currencies than money.
Yes.
And money it should be like your third or fourth priority when it comes to currencies. Your top currency, most important one should be like your influence, how your brand, what people think about when they think of you, how much okay, influence is probably the best word. How much people listen to you is so much more important than how much money they give you.
Yes. 100% agree.
There are some, I'm not going to name any names, I'm sure everyone knows that there are companies that are selling courses. I'm sure I make more in a single brand deal than they do at least in a month of their paying customers.
Yeah, and even if what's crazy to me is that there are a lot of people that are doing this that are just downright absolutely irreputable. They don't have any reason. You don't have any reason to believe why they would know these things. Like there are people creating courses that have literally never grown a stream. Or
I've seen some of those. I got in a fight with one of those guys.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. And we're talking about a different person than I was referencing. Just to point out, there are multiple people. We're not talking about anyone in particular here. I guess what you're saying, there is someone in particular.
No. There is multiple
there's
people.
Someone that I'm thinking of.
I was thinking of somebody
anymore.
in particular, but yes, there are multiple people that do this. Yeah,
but no, the person I'm thinking of isn't around anymore.
Okay.
But yeah, no, I like, he sent me an email. He's like, hey, I'll pay you this much to advertise my course.
Oh.
And then, or no, he didn't offer to pay me. He said, I'll give you a cut.
Oh.
If you advertise my course. And instead I screenshotted the email and said, beware of these people. Like, don't pay for these courses. He got mad. But like, his stream had 20 viewers.
Yeah.
Why would you take advice from someone who isn't where you want to be?
Exactly.
If you're going to take professional advice, they better be where you want to be, because they can't lift you higher than they've lifted themselves.
100%. Right. And it's like the counter they'll have is like, well, I've done like a lot of reading. I've watched a lot of videos. And like, if there's one thing that we can tell you about doing YouTube and streaming, it's that if you haven't actually been in the trench warfare and done the hand-to-hand combat, like you don't know.
You have no idea.
You have no idea. I did so much research on my YouTube videos before I actually started making videos. I had no idea what I was talking about. No. Literally none.
Because it's not about the numbers in this. Like, like whenever we make a thumbnail on the YouTube video, what I do is I take the thumbnail and I shrink it down to the size that it is on YouTube. So what people are going to see as they're scrolling past. And I ask myself, would I click on this thumbnail? And there's no numbers. There's no strategy you can put to that. It's just understanding viewers. Like if I were looking, like the video we posted today was a budget gaming streaming PC. And I'd ask myself, if I was looking for a gaming budget streaming a PC, would that thumbnail stop me? Would the title intrigue me enough? Because a lot of people, they describe their videos with a title, right? They describe what's in it, and that's not what you're trying to do. What you're trying to do is intrigue them to want to know what's inside the video.
Right.
It's totally different. Like you can't, unless you've done it a million times, you've learned this little wording works, this little wording doesn't work. Like, you just can't.
Yep. And I love your thumbnail here too. Like, I think it's super cool. Like, it's like the big like 650, which is like, this is how much it costs. And so it's like, that's really cheap. That automatically like says, oh, like that's a budget gaming PC, but like the PC looks like really powerful than any game. Like, it's clear that you thought that out. And it's weird how the psychology works as you learn these things, right? Because like, I think what happens is you sort of subconsciously learn these tiny lessons over every single thing that you do. And so after 20 videos or 40 videos or 50 videos, you get to the point where you sort of subconsciously understand what it takes to make one of these.
Yeah.
And that's what
there are still videos there. I mean, I've been doing this since I literally posted my first YouTube video in 2006. Like, there are still, like, just a month ago, we posted a video that I thought was going to do really well, and it didn't. And we took a look at it and said, you know what I think the problem is? I think we did the thumbnail poorly. And that just killed the video. Like, we did did you see the Pokimane redesign video? Pokimane's new design on her stream was done by my editor, Sam.
No way.
Like,
is this the makeover video?
Her widgets are
Is this the makeover video?
Yeah.
That needs to get some. I haven't seen this one yet. Yeah.
Yeah. So that one, how many views does that have?
54,000.
And that was just a month ago.
Yeah.
We did the same thing to Ninja like 3-4 months ago, and that one has like 13,000 views because the thumbnail was trash.
Whoa.
Yeah, the thumbnail was bad. The redesign was better.
Yeah.
But the thumbnail was trash, and nobody clicked on it.
Yeah.
And so you learn little things like that. We realized, like, we should have put Ninja's face on it. What were we thinking? We should have put Ninja's face.
I see. Yeah.
And we did. And with Pokimane, we put Pokimane's face on it.
Yep.
And that got a lot more clicks.
I think 90% of a YouTube video's discoverability is thumbnail and title.
Oh yeah. It's more important than the actual content. I hate to say that. I hate to say that, but it is.
Just
barely.
It sucks that that's the case, but it is. Yeah. Yeah. It really is. And what's so weird is, do you know there's a concept called false consensus effect?
I don't know what that is.
Okay, so you know what it is, but it just has a fancy name. So it's like so false consensus effect is this idea that as an individual, I understand how the majority of people are going to behave. So another way to put it would be like, if I make like a super clickbait title, everyone in my chat is going to be like, this is BS. Like, I would never click on this. I would never use this. Right. But the reality is that way more people, including them, are going to click on it. And it's because we are not honest with ourselves psychologically. Like, we're not introspective with ourselves about like what we actually will respond to. So when you set out to create content at first, your opinion is the opinion of the market. And some people never change this because they don't A/B test and they don't go back and forth and understand what actually works. You have to radically change your own thinking to be able to succeed because what the market actually responds to is so vastly different than what we as individuals think it does respond to.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. You have to be able to completely see this from a different perspective. You have to forget everything you've done as a creator. Yes. Like, the summary, whatever you did in the video, forget it. And you have to ask yourself, what words would make me click? If I were browsing, and it's again, like titling or like coming up with tags. People in the tags will put a description of what it is. You have to think about, like, you have to come at it from the opposite direction. Like, what are people going to be searching that if this video pops up, they will click on it? Because nobody's going to search $650 PC. Yeah. Nobody Googles $650 PC. Yep. They Google budget.
Yep. They Google best budget.
They Google affordable. Yeah. And so you notice I didn't put $650 in the title because it doesn't matter. That's not going to be an SEO. Nobody cares.
Yep.
I put it in the thumbnail so they can still see it. But then I'm freeing up space in the title for something more searchable.
100%.
Yeah, you gotta think about what, and sometimes it's something totally different. Sometimes it's like, if someone's searching, how does NVENC work? Or NVENC versus X264, and then that video pops up. They might click on that. And so I put NVENC and X264 in my video, or in my tags. Things like that. You have to think about, like, what are all the things that people could be searching that my video would be an answer for, and put those in the tags, put those in the title. That's what's important.
Have you seen, there's a YouTube video, and maybe somebody in chat can link it because I never saved this video. I will this time, but if somebody can link this, there's a really interesting video. It has like 6,000 views. But what they did, a really simple thing. What they did was, yeah, the tag one, if you can find it. What they did was they posted a unique hashtag in the, oh yeah, we found it instantly. Is this the one?
Do video.
Yep. Okay, I'll link you this. This is such a cool. This has 5,600 views, and this is one of the most useful videos I've ever seen. So what it is it's a video about if YouTube video tags matter. And what they did was they posted a unique hashtag, like number 3452E36, like something like that. And they did it on high profile YouTube channels, and they did it in the title, they did it in the description, and then they did it in the tags. And they found out that tags no longer have any bearing on YouTube search.
None at all?
Zero. Yeah.
Oh,
the video
that's good to
doesn't
know.
appear. It's really interesting. Yeah. And so what YouTube did, and then
because then they searched that thing, that tag that I see.
Yes. And so what they discovered was that YouTube at some point moved all of the tagging into the description.
Yeah,
which makes sense.
That's something I knew was more important. The description was important, and I tried to put as many buzzwords in my description as possible.
Yeah, a lot of people skip this. They don't write descriptions. Yeah, or they just put their links.
Yeah, no, your description serves like 3 functions. 1, having your links. 2, having like the first 2 lines be something eye-catching because those show up in the search. People can read the first 2 lines.
Yeah.
And then also like putting buzzwords that work just like keywords. But also the title is also really important for SEO.
Right.
Like the video that blew up my channel was like why Twitch growth is almost impossible. And like I workshopped that title for a half hour of how do we get the word Twitch early on in the title. Like at first it was why growth is almost impossible on Twitch. And we like worked around like 3 or 4 different versions till the Twitch was earlier in the title. We called it why Twitch growth was almost impossible. It's little things like that, like just making sure it's super searchable, that the word Twitch is incredibly relevant, and that people see it. And the word Twitch, like, you know, this was before Mixer, like there was nothing other than Twitch at the time.
Right.
And like that's what they would gravitate towards, and it worked.
Yep. And it's so crazy how that works because like YouTube is always evolving. The description now it has a really heavy weight on it, and then obviously the title has the heaviest weight, which is like what Harris is saying about getting Twitch in the beginning of it. It actually matters what ordering you have in your title. So if like Twitch is like if you have an 80 character title and Twitch is at the end, then Google understands that to be less important than words that precede it. So somebody in chat that's a pretty good YouTuber is also mentioning that they actually disabled tags in the new uploader for YouTube. They're not even there.
I mean, I just uploaded a video today and I used tags.
And the new YouTuber uploader, the beta YouTube uploader doesn't have a tag system in it.
Oh, I've seen this new thing. I haven't even used it yet.
Yeah,
they just took tags out entirely.
They're like hidden. You have to like go through a bunch of menus to click it. So like they're definitely
do that, it means
it.
they don't care.
Exactly. Yeah,
they're only putting it there to make you feel better about yourself.
Yeah, I still do tags just in case that video was wrong, but I'm pretty sure that they don't have any bearing. Like it seems to be the title and it seems to be the description entirely.
I wouldn't be surprised at all.
Yeah,
and it's one of those things where like depending on your average viewership, also depending on your growth, because there are other factors as well. Like if you're someone like Casey Neistat, where like you've provided every single video is so entertaining and so valuable that the majority of your audience is going to watch it, and you have an insane click-through rate, YouTube's going to put your video out there forever in the recommended file anyway.
Yeah. And
you can make it more about you and more about the personality and less about the SEO.
Right.
But like when you're first growing, like those should be your top priority.
Do you monitor your click-through rate in real time?
I mean, I monitor, I don't look at stats as much as a lot of people do. I think stats are important, but I find that if I look any more than I currently do, they'll be distracting.
This is a cool subject because I actually don't look at my view count on Twitch ever. And there's a rule in chat.
Are you talking about Twitch or YouTube?
Sorry, this is just, we were talking about YouTube, but I referred over to Twitch just as an example to support what you just said. Because you can look at looking at Twitch numbers, like your concurrent viewers would be considered like looking at stats, right? And I only do that on a 7-day time period. And there's a joke in chat where everybody just posts like a random number, because if I do that, I game myself into believing things that I wouldn't otherwise. So you can't get a good idea of a trend unless you're looking at it in a long spectrum of time. So you need a minimum of 14 days really to understand a trend, and I would say it's more like 30 to 60 to 90 days. And so like with YouTube, I'm careful to look at so YouTube is actually more interesting because click-through rate in real time is a super interesting stat, because so the top videos on YouTube that are going to get 2 to 3 to 4 million views, they're going to start at a click-through rate of 15%. And then it's going to slowly decline as it serves to more people.
You mean people who saw your video and clicked on it versus people who saw your video and didn't click on it?
Yeah, let's back up a little, because so the way that I understand YouTube to work, and I've talked to a couple of engineers there, is YouTube will start and it will serve to a small pool of people, depending on your existing subscriber base and your previous success. So let's say for a new channel, it might serve to 50 to 100 people. Then based on the click-through rate so out of the 100 people that click on it, if 15 people click on it, and then maybe 1 or 2 people engage with it with either a like or a subscribe or something, it'll then serve to another pool of people that's wider. So now it's 200 people. So now we have 300 people total. And as long as engagement rates stay consistent and CTR stays consistent throughout those pools of serving it, so now it's 100 people, 200 people, 500 people, 1,000 people, 10,000 people, your video can theoretically be infinite. It can be served to the entire community. But it'll eventually stop, right? Because CTR will eventually dilute as your video goes out to people that it's less relevant to.
Sure.
So given that premise, click-through rates staying consistently high once you release a video is the most important thing that you need to focus on. And you can actually do a thing where if your click-through rate is initially like 6% in the first hour, you can change your thumbnail and then it'll go up to like 12 to 15. Yeah, in real time.
Yeah, I wish I had the manpower to come up with like 5 thumbnails for every video and just like do that. But like the moment I hit publish, it's like, all right, I got to get started on this next video or else I'm not going to hit my deadline.
So what do you have like specific deadlines you try to do?
Yeah, we post twice a week.
Okay.
And that's when you do that and stream 3 days a week, that's so freaking hard.
That is a lot of work.
That is so hard. Because we both, in fact, my editor is streaming daily right now. He's doing like a 12 days of design, because he does design streams and stuff. He's fantastic. In fact, he just posted a bunch of alerts for free on his Twitter that he's giving away in his Discord, and it got like 2,000 likes on Twitter. Like they're blowing. He's so good at what he does.
One thing to know. Sorry.
Oh, I was gonna say he's the guy that redesigned Ninja's and Pokemon's streams. Ninja doesn't use it, but Pokemon uses the ones we did.
One of the things to note about Harris that's profoundly different from the stuff that I do, Harris makes actually good YouTube videos. If you watch this stuff, it is extremely high quality. It is really well edited, and it's extremely well spoken. There's music tracks. There's like when he says he does 2 videos a week, like those are real those are real videos. They're very hard to do. They're well edited. They're extremely high quality. Like it's very different from like me, where I'm but literally my 2 resources for doing like a video is Notepad and sometimes if we need it, and this is like bringing out the big guns. This is like we're going deep into Adobe Premiere. I bring out MS Paint, but only in the worst. The worst moments, the darkest times. Yeah. That's like
it's important to me. The production is so. Did you see? We posted the one today, and there was a section of it that because like here's the deal. Like production is so important to me, but you got to find that balance of like still making sure. Like I'm sorry, I'm getting on tangent after tangent without finishing any tangent before. Yeah. I've watched.
This is gonna be tough for our content. Yeah, it's like
I've watched PC build videos that are just beautiful, and the videographer inside me is just like I want to make these kind of shots. I wish I had the time to, when I'm building the PC, to like set up the lights and the camera for every single quarter turn of the screwdriver and just make this beautiful montage. And I just don't have the time. And then I have to sit back afterwards and go, but did that make me want to subscribe to the channel?
Yes.
And usually the answer is no. Did that make me want to follow this person on Twitter? And usually the answer is no. And so instead, Sam and I will jump on a call. Sam again is the editor. Sam and I jump on a call and I'll be like, hey, so I got this idea. And it'll be the first thing that jumps into my head and we'll just do it. And that's honestly, I think that's what, because I've had such a high conversion rate from YouTube over to Twitch and YouTube. Like there are people with way more subscribers than I have on YouTube that cannot get Twitter followers.
Interesting.
And so what?
I just said that's really interesting. Why do you think that is?
Because they don't connect with their audience. It's more about the information and it's less about the presentation, or it's too manufactured. It doesn't feel genuine. And so you feel like you don't really get to know the person when you're watching the videos. And it's really important. Like we will leave mistakes in the videos. Sam will make fun of me in the videos. Like I had to test my PC playing Fortnite, and like I was like, oh, I heard they started putting bots in these games, and he like pointed an arrow to me and said, here's one. Like like they know the conversation between the editor, and there's that transparency.
Yeah.
And that provides so much value to the viewer, and it brings people, it builds a relationship between me and my viewers. They feel like they get to know me. But so like on this video, it was like, hey, I got to build this PC. How about instead of making just amazing cinematic shots, I'm just going to meme it up hard. And so like I put on my wife's scrunchie around my wrist and called it the Verge static. Did you see the Verge PC build video from forever ago? Yeah, so it was
I do remember that,
the
actually.
Verge anti-static bracelets. Like I tossed a RAM, and like we used like some clever cuts to make it look like I threw the RAM and it landed in the DIMM slot. And then I went up to it and it says dual channel. Like, and then in the end I said what did I say? I said, what's the difference between GPU and RAM? I've never GPU'd my and then it cuts out.
It just cuts, yeah.
Just like stuff, just meme it up, stuff like that, and just make fun of ourselves. And that brings so much. I have so much cross-pollination because people feel like they get to know me in the videos. It's not just about the information, but it's about the relationship that I'm building with my audience.
You have one of the highest subscriber ratios to viewer ratios on Twitch. Because of if you take your hours streamed and then you take the number of subscribers you have towards the total viewers, you have one of the highest subscriber ratios.
You should have seen it before I left for Japan.
I did see it, actually. It was over 2,000.
That cut me out.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it did. Yeah, and that does happen. Like I'm about to take a week off next week because I'm going to go see family in Tahoe, and like it's physically painful. It is.
It hurts.
It really does. But like you have one of the. I did see it before. Yeah, and that's when I ran the numbers, and I ran them again after Japan, because you were in Japan for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's.
That
That's
hurts,
tough.
man. That's half a month.
It's very hard. Yeah, and that's one of the things about streaming. I know we're just jumping, but like that's one of the things about streaming. Is like on YouTube, if you've got 3 to 5 videos that you can release in that time frame, right? Like you're good. If you're on Twitch and you go away for a month, you're dead. You're just you don't exist anymore.
Yeah, and so I'm actually working on a solution to that right now. By the way, I can't
tell me.
I can't tell you.
Oh, you
no,
can't?
I can't.
Okay,
I can't. We're working on, dude. I've got so many goals for 2020, but they're like all under NDA.
The fact that you
I'm
think
so
that there
excited.
is a solution is really interesting.
The what?
The fact that you think there is a solution is interesting because it's a very hard problem.
There's a handful of solutions, but what was I going to say? Oh, but I think again, the reason why my subscriber rate is so high, is due to a couple things. One, it's due to that. I think it's just the fact that I make original content. My YouTube content's not just cut up Twitch clips. Making original content, but also making original content that, one, builds a relationship with my viewers, and 2, provides value for them. Is that my viewers, like when they come from the YouTube to Twitch, they feel like I've given them a lot of free information, which I have. Like I've spent thousands of dollars building PCs and like figuring out what is going to save you guys $500 on a build, and they see that value, and it makes them want to return the favor, which is it's such an amazing relationship. Like that's one of my favorite things about live streaming is that like nobody pays YouTubers.
Yeah.
Like nobody wants to donate to a YouTuber, but like you come into Twitch and like everybody's supporting each other, or into any live streaming platform, everybody's supporting each other. And when they come from my YouTube channel where I've given them just what I hope is an insane value, they want to come in, they want to return the favor, and I think that provides a lot of subscriptions. People
actually unironically donate to millionaires knowing they're doing it on Twitch because they have that much of a connection with yet like people like you wouldn't find anyone's going to donate to Logan Paul.
No, but you know what, another thing I do that I think keeps that number high is that? I see so many, and I know it gets harder. Like I say this until I get 10,000 subscribers, but like I never miss a sub. I make sure to say thank you to like every single, what I'm doing right now is hurting me, that I'm like, every time I know you're going to talk for like 30 seconds, like call out every sub. Like
you can.
I don't. So sometimes when you've talked for a long time, my response might be a little minimal because I didn't hear some of it because I was calling out subs, but like it blows my mind that people want to come in and give $5 a month to me for me to sit here and hang out with them, because I love streaming. Like, it's so much fun. So it's really important to me that I express my gratitude towards them. And I also find that it's a win-win, because it builds that connection, and also I get more subscribers and I can keep doing what I'm doing. It's just a win all around.
Do you do calls to action for your subs? Like do you tell people to sub, or do you have any kind of like program or kind of incentive?
I never ask people to sub.
Really?
Never ask people to sub.
So you got over 2,000 subs totally organically, without ever asking anybody to do it.
The only calls to action I have, I always try to make sure that it's not like it's the complete opposite direction. Like, it's never me asking them to sub so that they sub, but I try to make sure that if they're going to sub, they feel like the value they get in return is worth it. So like, I put a lot of effort into my emotes. We've got a really cool, like, I don't know if you're looking at if you can see my stream, we got like a little sub train thing going on here, where like there's a Pokemon making his way across the bottom to go to the Pokeball. And then like it's a sub train. So like if it makes it to the Pokeball, the number disappears. And so like they like to keep the train going and see like if this number gets above 30, this changes to a great ball. So like there are little subtle calls to action that make it fun and engaging and worth it for them. But none of it is a hey, if you sub, this will happen kind of thing. I like to make sure it's more of I want to make it worth your while, more than a hey, I've done this, please subscribe to me kind of thing.
And are you also donating money to St. Jude? Like, what's that there?
Yeah, so I don't have donations on my stream. That it bothered me. Like I turned that off like back in February. Like, it bothered me that there are so many ways to give streamers money. Like, I came from YouTube, where viewers don't give streamers, viewers don't give YouTubers money.
Yeah.
And then here I am on Twitch, and I'm getting subs and I'm getting bits. And then I also have a donation button there. Like, it bothered me. And I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm not saying anyone should feel bad about doing that. I'm not trying to like run other streamers' lives. I just felt like there was already enough funnel for people to support if they wanted. That here's an option to make a permanent charity button. Like, let's do that. I'm making enough money from subs and bits. And, I also found that I didn't lose any money by doing that anyway. The money that people normally donated instead put towards gifted subs and bits anyway. Wow. So I didn't lose any money. And now we have a permanent sub button on the channel. And again, it's a win-win all around.
You are literally lawful good. Like you're actually a paladin. You